The coronavirus, creeping onto the world scene only a few short months ago, and then exploding into our day-to-day lives. Welcome back to Around the World with COVID-19 from a blindness perspective. In our previous episodes, we have circumnavigated the world, visiting places like Australia, Malaysia, the United Kingdom, Trinidad and Tobago, and many, many more. Welcome to episode 22 in our series, Around the World with COVID-19 from a blindness perspective. Our guest in this episode is Sammie Shipman. Sammie comes to us from the San Francisco Bay Area in Northern California in the United States. Sammie has a unique perspective as a college student in the Bay Area. She articulately shares her perspective on the COVID-19 virus and its impact on the Bay Area and on her day-to-day lifestyle as a blind college student navigating her way through school, travel and transportation, and the pandemic restrictions imposed on Californians. And now, please welcome our guest, Sammie Shipman.
My name is Sammie Shipman, and I'm here today to talk to you about what I'm doing during the COVID-19 shelter-in-place order. I'm a college student majoring in psychology. I am completing all of my associate's degree and part of my BA at a community college. It's a pretty large college. It's on a hill. I will be transferring to the university soon. I'm a pretty active person. I also have a guide dog. Love hanging out with my friends and going to church and going for leisure walks in my local marina. So, I get out a lot, go shopping and just, live life. When I heard about the lockdown, I was in class and there were some people that thought, this is only going to last a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And I don't know what gave me the feeling, but I just knew that we were going to be here a while. So I finished up my classes for the semester on Zoom, had a nice summer, and then started classes for this semester. And I'm taking some pretty heavy classes. I'm taking 2 voice classes, which are more work than they sound. It's not just singing. And I'm also taking psychology and biology. Taking biology virtually is not easy, to say the least. It's conceptualizing some very visual concepts. Doing that virtually through Zoom, I have my lab models that were made for me. So models of like what a molecule looks like or an atom. All of you psych majors or biochem majors out there, you know what I'm talking about. Basically different elements. Pretty interesting to conceptualize. I have the book and everything, and my instructors are amazing. So that's a big help. A lot of it is knowing my technology. I used to teach adaptive tech to the blind through a local company out here. So I'm pretty familiar with how to use various screen readers and JAWS, NVDA, VoiceOver, and I use all 3 actually to complete coursework on my phone and my computer. So that's basically what I'm doing is school, and I live more of a life than that. They just started opening up my church that I go to. We have service outside with masks, of course. That's been nice. Staying inside all the time, it's hard. It's hard for anybody, especially for someone like a student or, someone that's used to getting out a lot. It's hard. And I absolutely have dealt with my moments of depression, situational depression. After a few days, I'm like, okay, it's time to get out of the house. But during that time when I wasn't going to school, I did a lot of walking and, being outside. We've been having a lot of fires here in the Bay Area. Actually, I didn't mention that, but I live in the SF Bay Area in California.
Let me update everybody, and I'll begin with a slide here of the top 20 largest California wildfires. The August complex is now the largest in California's history. 4 million now acres have been burned. Year to date, 23 major wildfire complexes still raging here in the state of California.
We're still on lockdown in a sense that, some schools have opened up, I guess, but not colleges. Like they even said that next semester we're not going back. I love to sing. As I said, I'm in a couple voice classes. Broken and battered, my dreams were shattered beyond repair. I've written a song and done a few covers, and actually you can find me on SoundCloud.
I was lost in this world, so alone, so scared.
Music is a wonderful outlet. If you write it, if you listen to it, either way, it's a great outlet. There's going to be that song out there that really, touches you and that you can identify with. I feel like that's one of the things that makes music so great. A lot of times it can be pretty open to interpretation. So, a song could have one meaning to one person and a completely other meaning to someone else. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. And one of the other things that I did to help combat some of the depression that I faced was writing, whether it be songs or story or journaling. I think journaling is wonderful because there's no right or wrong. You can write, anything. And while it may not necessarily solve your problem, it kind of puts things out there on paper or on your computer. For me, it just helps maybe bring a thought to my mind that I never thought about something like this before. Another thing that I really enjoy doing is playing with my dog. He's 11 now, but I like to say he's 11 going on 11 months because he still has a lot of energy, and I still enjoy, throwing a toy for him and, a bone that I'll get him and he'll chew on it. Just having a dog in your life in general, whether it be a pet or a service animal, because my dog is actually multi-service. He'll do some other tasks for me, is very relaxing and releases that oxytocin when you're petting them, and, very relaxing exercise to do. My birthday was last week, and it's a big birthday for me, and I was really thinking about it, like, what am I going to do? I can't throw a big party, and most restaurants are closed, and maybe if they're open, only having a couple people allowed in. For a little bit, I was a little sad because I'm like, I want all my friends there, and, it'd be nice to get everybody together. And I have some friends who, they haven't seen each other in a long time, and would have been a great opportunity to do that. So I thought about it and ended up realizing that maybe a better thing to do and a more cool thing to do would be to have a few different get-togethers with a smaller group of friends at a time. So that's what I did. I got to have a really nice Mexican dinner with a couple of my friends. We had a great time with cake and ice cream. We had some great conversation, and it was wonderful. Later on, I went to have dinner with another friend of mine, and we sat outside, and it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And he gave me a nice gift for my birthday. And then I got to have another get together with a couple members of my family, and we had cake and a candle and everything. It was wonderful. So I got to have 3 get-togethers for my birthday as opposed to one big bash. That is pretty cool. And I'm choosing to focus on that, and I don't want to be sad and depressed and think about, what I don't have, what I didn't get to do. So, I try to look at the positive and have a good outlook on it. We have to wear masks, wherever we go. And so when I do need to travel, wearing a mask all the time is, it's not easy. It can get hot. There are times where I need to go up to my school. They are holding some limited services a couple of times a week. And when I go and pick up, say, my biology lab equipment and things like that, you go and you check in to they call the triage center. Then you go do what you need to do and then leave. And they also have a study center there, actually, which is great. There's Wi-Fi and everybody's spread apart and you have to wear masks and things like that. I had to go up to the school for the first time in 6 months a couple of weeks ago. And my dog was excellent and remembered all the routes that we have ever been on at that school. Great, right? No, actually, because everything changed. The routes that we took were blocked off because they don't want people going into certain areas. So it's, it's very restricted and limited to keep everybody where they're supposed to be and out of where they're not supposed to be. We had to relearn everything. And so it was cool because another friend of mine had some business up there as as well. So we went up there together and walked around a bit and scoped the place out. And then I did it all by myself the week after. It was very interesting, a little frustrating at times, trying to navigate not only where I need to go, but I'm navigating, new protocols and procedures in place to check in. And we had to get like a wrist bracelet. It was all new for me. It was all new for my guide dog, and it went well. Each time we had to do it, of course, it got better and better. Navigating transportation during this time is very interesting. Again, wearing the masks all the time it's hot and it blocks off my sound that I use to navigate. A lot of times I navigate using echolocation, and when you're wearing a mask on your face, it blocks that part off. That is definitely something that I've had to get used to. Navigating the buses are different as well because we now don't need to pay, but we need to board the bus in the back. And my dog is so used to, obviously boarding in the front. And he's finally learned after 6 months of doing this that they're not going to open the doors and we need to move to the back. So teaching that to him and getting used to it for me was a challenge in the beginning. Also because sometimes they don't have the ability to lower the ramp. So it's just a big step up. And sometimes I have trouble navigating that with my tendinitis issues with my knees and such things. So that can be frustrating and challenging. But we're working it out. You do what you need to do, and we're doing it. I'd say that's the most challenging part of navigating public transportation. I also utilize the light rail system here. And those are fine. You get on. There's less people. When I first started traveling on the light rail system, I was like, this is like a ghost town. There's like nobody here.
We begin with the very latest on the coronavirus emergency. Global cases have now passed 13 million just 5 days after we hit the 12 million mark. And here in the U.S., hospitalizations are on the rise in 32 states.
According to the White House task force, more than a quarter of the states have a PPE supply that will run out in under 30 days. Now, nearly 24 states are putting their reopening plans on hold or reversing them altogether. The most dramatic rollback in California.
This morning, California closing back down.
Effective today, requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, restaurants, wineries, movie theaters, and museums, card rooms, and the shuttering of all bars. This is in every county in the state of California.
With deaths from COVID rising and current hospitalizations now reaching record numbers, Governor Gavin Newsom also announcing that 29 counties, accounting for 80% of California's population, will also be required to close fitness centers, places of worship, non-critical offices, salons, and indoor shopping malls.
This virus is not going away anytime soon.
At times I will take Uber and, the only thing is, of course, you need to wear your mask and that's about it. You just get in and go. When I hear the drivers talk to me, it very much sounds like they have a mask on and, when they don't, I can tell the difference. And then a lot of times too, they have like a protectant so that you're separated. You need to sit in the back. There's no more sitting in the front right now. And so, you get in the back and there's a somewhat of a barrier between you and the driver. For the most part, I actually don't think I have ridden in an Uber where they're not wearing their masks. In terms of doing my schoolwork, it's mostly on Zoom or Canvas. We use Canvas at my school. It's like Blackboard. And for those that don't know what that is, it's just a online learning management system where you can have all your assignments in one place and you submit them through these platforms. All my classes are remote. I decided not to take any online classes this semester. Remote, meaning the professor is on Zoom and you log into Canvas and click on a link called Confer Zoom. For a while, I was thinking that I was going to have an accessibility issue because I couldn't find the join link, but I have now realized, pro tip, click on your course, click on event calendar, you'll see it there. I guess if I had any advice for anyone taking an online or remote class or anything like that, especially now, it's, know your tech. Don't be married to one screen reader because you never know what something could work on and what something may not work on. One of the things I used to enjoy doing is going out to eat. Like, for example, I love Olive Garden. And so now with COVID, I think they are takeout now, but I enjoy eating like a shrimp Alfredo dish at Olive Garden or cheese ravioli. And so now I've kind of used this time. I have more time because I'm home more, not having to commute my 3 hours a day because I don't live close to my college, is cook. And so I made it myself and it was really fun and I enjoy cooking anyway. But now I have more time to do the things I love and not be boggled down with the heavy commute that I was having to do every day. You know, this has been a really good time to reflect and, think about what's important and take pause and have a moment to just breathe and sit, with myself. And it's been good. It's been really good. I am doing classes, 4 days a week. And as I said, I don't live close to the college. So I'm commuting like 3 hours, classes that run later into the afternoon. I'm stuck on the street closest to my college for sometimes an hour before I reach the light rail station on the bus. That's a lot of time to be commuting back and forth. And so, I've chosen to kind of look at this where, I don't have to do that right now all the time. It's been great. Get more stuff done. I can have, my mornings to get up and meditate, take my time getting ready. Some say, you can do work in your pajamas. And I mean, sometimes I do when I'm in classes, but I try to mentally be in the place where I'm ready to do schoolwork. Getting dressed kind of tends to have that effect on you. One of the things that has been really instrumental in helping us to settle into a more concrete routine is that we've converted one of the bedrooms into an office for me. It has been great to have a dedicated place to go to where I'm working on work stuff, school stuff, whatever it may be. I wake up in the morning, make my coffee, tell my dog to go to the office, and he does. I have a nice desk in there and he'll lay under there and be good for a while. And, it's been good too to give him sort of this purpose and place to go to now. This is our space that we are in during the day. We're still going for walks for sure, but, this is what we do now as opposed to all the traveling and places that we were going before for school and whatever else. My bedroom, which is on the other side of the house, can just be a place where there's an off switch. I can read a book for leisure without thinking, what's the next chapter I need to read? What's this paper I need to write for the next class? There's a very nice, well-defined boundary line, a separation between work and play. And of course, there's sleep. Lots of good sleep. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. It's been really fun sitting here chatting with you. I hope everyone has a great day and a great week, staying safe and healthy.
Today, a low case count, 1,677 cases reported to the state. Hopefully, a true continuation of a downward trajectory. We're not out of the woods. So although there is some encouragement here, we know that we still have work to do.
We continue to have a lot of work to do on COVID-19 transmission. As you can see, we have made progress here in the state of California with stable case rates, but you're starting to see an increase in COVID-19 cases all across the country. In fact, as of this morning, 21 states have seen an increase in transmission rates, not just across the country. You're seeing this increasingly around the world. Take a look at the headlines in France, what's happening in the United Kingdom, what's been happening in Israel, what Germany is projecting. And this is the second wave that many had predicted based upon our closest approximate frame, and that's what occurred in 1918 and 1919.
We'd like to thank Sammie Shipman for joining us on Blind Abilities and for sharing her perspective on the coronavirus and COVID-19 as a blind student in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. Be sure to check out other episodes in our series, Around the World with COVID-19 from a Blindness Perspective. And from all of us here at Blind Abilities, through these challenging times, to you, your family, and friends, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes,
we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities
of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.